and we have Ross back. So we are steering to a completely, well, not completely different topic, but a little bit more, I guess, of what we love and into the bodybuilding side of things. Because, you know, I love it on here how, like, there's so many different subjects, and I think people find it really interesting from that side of view. Like, I don't know whether each prep you do you get like people still ask you those like kind of like, I guess, intricate questions for sort of the world of bodybuilding, but you've had quite an interesting prep this year. Ross decided to prep all of 10 minutes before the show.
Slightly longer 10 minutes, we're not far off it.
But yeah, so obviously you've competed for what, 9 years, did you say?
Yeah. So yeah, quite a while. My first show was at 19, and obviously now 28 now. So yeah.
And how did, I guess, of just to start with, how did it feel like? Obviously, that age is very different in terms of so many different things. Like, I guess, how did it?
Yeah. So,
how does it feel to like even look like think about back to how you felt then to how you felt now?
Yeah, it's a weird one. Obviously, back then I just loved training. So I've always been into like sports and stuff. So my main sport when I was young was judo.
Okay.
So that was my kind of how I got into like some kind of competition thing. So my thing,
I did judo when I was like 6.
Oh, did you?
Horrendously bad.
So I started like 4, and I did it for about a good 10 years, and I kind of went like I was British champion. I fought all over the world. So Russia, Latvia, Estonia, France, Belgium. I could keep going on and on. Like that was my thing. I got into a sports school because of my judo. You know, that was my life. 7 days a week. It was judo. That's all that mattered.
And did you do that nearby to you? Like,
so I used to go all over. So my main club was up in Kilburn in London, and then obviously I'd go to a few clubs in like Camberley, more local.
Yeah.
But it was 7 days a week, and I'd every weekend without fail, I was traveling all up and down the country.
Wow.
And like I said, I was
abroad
a lot. So,
and I think as well, like, I mean, I always like growing up as well. See, I mean, I've come from a completely different background of dance, but you learn so much, I think, as you grow up being in a sport and sort of being with other people, and also having that hierarchy of someone teaching you something as well. And I think that sort of sets you up so like nicely in terms of like actually understanding a discipline as well.
So
and it's probably where that mindset has.
That's what I was going to lead on to, is literally that was it. That's how I built, because a lot of people say to me, I don't get how you do it. And I didn't have a normal childhood. So my childhood was not normal. Like my dad was
You didn't try an Oreo till when?
I know, literally. Well, my dad wasn't your usual kind of dad. Like my life was like such extreme with judo. You know, it was very, very extreme. So for me, I built this kind of mindset and this like I call it a bit. I know it's probably not the right word, but I call it a bit of an unbreakable mindset, because I truly believe that's what I've kind of got because of that. And you know, I thank him in some ways, but also sometimes I'm like, I didn't really ever want. You know, it wasn't. It's probably a bit too harsh on me as a kid. I was a kid, you know. But it built this. That's why I feel like now I can do so well when it comes to dieting.
Yeah.
So I'm well with pushing myself in my training, because it was born into me really from a really young age. So that's kind of how I kind of started with the judo, and then as I got older, things kind of happened, and I stopped judo, and then I kind of picked up training, because I was always the really in shape kid because of my judo. So I was always like 6-pack, ripped up, and everyone was like, "You're not normal," and but I quite liked that kind of, I don't know, it was weird. It was like,
I guess you were being set differently.
Yeah, and people were like, "Oh my God, you're a crazy shape," and that was quite.
And I guess you didn't understand. Obviously, you wouldn't have understood the science of why that was the reason you looked like that.
I just knew that every time I got changed at PE, everyone was like, "What the hell?"
I bet you felt great.
Or I'd be on a holiday and people would be like, "What the hell?" You know. So it was kind of like, you know, that was quite a cool thing. And then I guess as I got older, I started then actually.
I guess you always then viewed yourself like appreciating the work that you put in for the reason you look like you do.
And that's when it kind of then started, like, you know, at school, and you got the weights, I started then training, and then I started seeing some progress. And again, I'd love seeing that progress. I love seeing that kind of progression.
It's awesome.
And then I got my first gym membership, because there was a gym down my road called Foundation. It was like a bodybuilder gym. And
how old were you then?
So I was about, I literally just before I was 16. So I was doing some weight training with my dad in his front room. And then I kind of transitioned to the gym there. And then it kind of, again, people who were the older lot started to see that I was training hard and took it serious. They quite respected
Yeah,
that.
100%. And I know, like, I know that feeling. Obviously, there is a lot of people in gyms now, like, you know, and you probably get it when you're at JD. Like, there are a lot of crowds of people in one area
Yeah.
fighting for one bench. But I think I really enjoy seeing those people that just do their thing, they chip away. You know, they're working hard and they're not necessarily in the same bracket as other people their age,
Yeah.
sort of
I think
doing
that's- I
whatever.
think
And
that's-
it's really fun to see
Yeah.
because you can see it in the, and
Yeah.
you like, you know, months later, you can see that progress.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
because Foundation was quite a small kind of net gym, these guys saw me and it was like, okay, this guy's not. He's more serious about this. They kind of took me under the wing a little bit, and then I was kind of, you know, they started then saying, look, we're training every day at 4 p.m. if you want to come in. So I would do that.
Oh, that's so
Then I
nice.
started training with them, and I was kind of learning a lot more.
And I bet
it
you
got
felt
better.
inspired by them.
They were big guys, bodybuilding. You know, they've been doing it for a lot, 20, 30 years, big guys. So we, you know, I really liked it, and I was getting stronger, and I really liked that. And I set in the physical changes, and it was going really well. And then I was doing tree surgery when I left school, and
I would not have put that.
Yeah.
I did
So
not know
literally
that.
left school, and literally the week after I started tree surgery. And as I got, like, you know, I was about a year and a half into it, and I thought, like, this is my passion, like the gym. And
Yeah.
funny enough, I'll call this as my first, probably actually my first ever client transformation, was the guy I was working with doing tree surgery.
Yeah.
And he was about, I'd say he's about 40, and, you know, he had 2 youngish kids, and he was eating horrendously, and he would see me eating well. Next thing you know, I started teaching him about kind of nutrition stuff.
Yeah.
So I was getting really passionate about it. from a
Yeah.
really young
Understanding
age.
it.
Then I was teaching them about kind of training things to do, and I'd write like a little training program and stuff. And within about a year, he lost about 4 stone.
Wow.
And he got really emotional to me and said, you know what? Like, he basically got really emotional to me. And I'm thinking, don't forget, I'm like a 17-year-old lad, and this guy's a 40-year-old. And he basically was telling me how much I've changed his life, and the fact that he can now go swim with his kids with his top off. And I'm in the
So
car here,
lovely.
he's tearing up. And I'm thinking,
But you don't really know what to do.
and I'm thinking, wow, like,
Yeah.
I need to do something with that. Like, I need to do something with this. This is my passion. I want to help more people like that.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. I could swim with my kids. I had my top off, cleaning my car. I feel great about myself. All my family can't believe it. And this is all thanks to you, Ross. And I was like, wow. And I was like, okay, this is when I need to. So then I started saving up for a PT course, and I did it when I was. I think I did it when I was just before I turned 18. I finished because it was literally like just about 17. Yeah, about 17 is when that happened with him. So I did my PT course, and then obviously started my first gym job. And then I wanted to be working at that foundation gym, and they didn't have any job opportunities going. So I got a job at like another gym called Camberley Arena Leisure Centre. Was there for about a year and a half, and then I still trained at foundation.
Yeah.
I kept going back. They said, as soon as you get a job, can you let me know? Can you let me know? Then they called me. I was like, yes, let me go. I'm straight to you.
Bye.
Joined them, and then obviously as I working in that bodybuilding environment as well. That was kind of when I was like kind of about 18 and a half, and then I started my first ever prep for a show because I was like, I just want to do it.
Yeah.
And then I did a teenager bodybuilding show, and I got 4th. And I remember that it was 12-week prep, and it was super grueling. I had a bit of like an old schooly kind of coach.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. You know, if we're talking about some prep stories, it was bad. I was passing out. I went to bed. It was horrendous. You know, I wasn't allowed sauces, seasonings, diet drinks. I wasn't allowed anything. It was
Which just isn't what you need to do now.
I had cod and broccoli for like 4 of my meals, and I had egg whites for my meal 1 and my last meal. Like, it was extreme. And then but again, I enjoyed the challenge, and I pushed.
Yeah.
I thought, it was like, I'm
You
training.
just constantly chase it.
When I got 4th, and obviously coming from a judo background, when I never really lost, and not me being like big-headed, I genuinely just didn't really lose. So when I then got 4th, my whole world went upside down, and I cried my eyes out. You know, I was even saying things that my dad's gonna be so disappointed in me because it's all this childhood trauma going on. And I was like,
Separate story.
but I was like, you know, I didn't even speak to my dad then. It doesn't make sense. But I was kind of like, it really distraught me. So I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I went and did MMA for about a year and a half. And I went to Thailand, did a big training camp out there, did all this stuff. And then I started to realize when I was doing it, yes, I'm good at, you know, the martial arts side of things, but I truly love and I'm passionate about bodybuilding. And it doesn't matter if I've not got the genetics for it, like to really be some IFBB pro. But I love it, and I couldn't get away from it. And I thought, you know what, I need to go back to it. And I'm still
Yeah.
working at Foundation then, and I was seeing everyone making progress in the gym. I was like, I need to get back to it.
Yeah.
And I started back
And
onto
that's, I
it.
guess, another example of like sort of like that fuel to the fire.
Mm.
Like, even though at the time it was initially negative, actually then when you'd sort of time had passed, you used it as a huge
Yeah,
positive.
I was like, do you know what? This is what I want to do now, and I know I want to do it. And I just went for it, and I said, you know what? I don't care about place anymore. All I care about is I love the process.
Yeah, and improving.
Yeah, improving.
Yeah.
So, and with MMA, I lost so much weight because you had to be fit and you had to really kind of like lose that muscle. I did like the way I looked, and obviously I've always gone being that in shape guy. I didn't like it, and I was really strong at one point, and I was losing that. I didn't like it, so I went back there, started training, and I was like, you know what, I'll do another show again. So then I did the Hampshire, which was 2018, prep for that, and I got second, and I was over the moon.
And the Hampshire, for people out there, because not all of them will know,
Yes.
is your local show.
Local show is about
So
50,
very close to us.
Yeah, 50 minutes from my house, order shot. And I got second in the junior bodybuilding. And the guy that won it was some Italian guy that flew over, and I was gutted. I was like, literally, we're backstage, and everyone looks about my age. I'm like, okay, these are good. There was one guy, bald guy, and I thought, yeah, he's probably on like the Masters, or he's probably on the adult, the adults, And then they would call out his name, I think it was like, I've got on Facebook. They were like Ricardo thing. He went, yeah, here. I went, get lost. He ain't my age. And I was messaging my mum and stuff saying, yeah, I've lost this. So I was like, because he was huge. And I was like, can I see some passport or ID here, please? Because I don't believe that. I felt like, when he's like, yeah, you're one of them parents at school football matches or something. That kid's not his age. And so then we kind of, obviously he won that. So I was like, fair enough. Then I went back in 2019.
Hampshire's like your show, isn't it?
Yeah, so I love it because...
Did you do many other ones?
Yeah, I did 2 bro show before. So obviously my first ever show was in Hampshire. That was up in Leamington Spa. Then I did another show in 2 bros, but most of them have been in Hampshire. And obviously apart from I did PC Universe this year up in Hull. But so I did the Hampshire again in 2019. I did classic bodybuilding this time, not junior bodybuilding. And I got second again. And the guy who beat me, Carlton, he was fantastic. And he actually went on to win the British finals that year. So I was like, okay, cool. He was
fair
good.
enough.
Yeah, I let him off, And then the following year, 2020, started prepping for the Hampshire again. Got cancelled due to COVID. So that was gutting. Then 2021, obviously COVID was kind of coming to the end of that bit, and if things were opening back up.
Weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was a terrible, grueling prep as well. So I did that one, and I got third. And again, it didn't, even though I got second, third, I still didn't feel any sense of like disappointment. And
it never is. And I think so many people who compete let that.
If they don't win, their whole experience of prep's ruined. And I feel like
and that's
what I did though. My first one. And it was.
But you probably learnt from that.
Exactly. And I realised that when you truly love something, it doesn't matter where you place. Yes, you can use it as fuel motivation to say, you know what, I want to do this, I want to do that. But again, all I actually cared about is I looked better than last time.
Yeah.
And I kept improving.
That's what I say to people.
And I kept improving. So I was like, you know what? It's a win, And I didn't care. And all my friends and family there supporting me and getting all buzzing. And I was like coming off. I was like, that's what I cared about. And then I started prep. And then I took 2023 off. No, sorry. 2021 off because that was 20. Hang on. What's in it? No. Sorry.
So many dates.
I'm telling lies that I was going to take 2022 off. And
you didn't.
I was dieting for a holiday, and I got 16 days away from the Hampshire, and I was looking pretty good. Yeah, I did it back then, and this was 16 days. So I was like, you know what? Let me go for it. And I dieted. I pushed it hard, dieted hard. And I turned up, and there were some really good guys in my class, and I thought, oh, no, I'm not going to win this one. There's one guy that won a show the weekend before and all this stuff. Well, yeah, I'm not going to win this. And they called me as winner. And oh, my God, honestly, I was emotional wreck. Absolute emotional wreck. My family was screaming. And I didn't expect it. And genuinely, I turned up on that day. I never even expected it. I didn't even think about winning. I just thought, oh, these guys are these guys are good. I enjoy it. And where I come second, went to do it again, he got cancelled. Then he got third, and then I went and won it. It was just like the best, most proudest feeling ever. And
it's such an incredible feeling, and you don't forget those moments. Like there are certain parts that highlight so much for me out of last prep. Like I remember I had 40 people come and see me for my first show, and obviously again it was really local to me. And I just remember coming out and just hearing this roar, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
I had
Like,
the exact same 40 people.
insane. And I think as well, like, coming off, like, you just feel
the buzz,
like it's just something of another level.
You forget all that them last few weeks where you're literally like dying. You forget it, and you think that was the best thing ever.
So worth it.
And that was obviously 2022 when I won it. And I couldn't believe it. I was like the happiest guy ever. And then 2023 I took it off, and then obviously this year, where my work had been so busy the last couple of years, I felt like I hadn't made as much progress as I'd wanted to. So I was like, nah, I'm just gonna diet for Ibiza. I'm not gonna do another show. I'm going to wait a bit more. So I need to make more progress.
And then you got leaner and leaner.
Yeah.
I remember I saw a story and I was like, are you sure you're not competing? And he was like, yeah, I've just signed up.
Well, that was on the Monday. But I had so many people message me throughout that and say, you're doing a show, you're doing a Hampshire, you're doing a last minute prep. I said, I promise you I'm not. And I pushed it really hard for my birthday because I knew I was going to have some birthday, like to go out for a Thai meal and this and that. So I thought my weight would jump back up again. And I didn't. It dropped weight. And I was like, what the hell? And then I was looking at myself thinking, am I being silly here by not doing this? And it was on the Monday, I had a client cancellation. I jumped on the treadmill. I was looking at the visuals from that morning. I thought, I was like, I could probably do this if I pushed it. And the PC Universe was coming up. And weirdly, the year before, I watched the PC Universe. And that's what I wanted to do this year.
It's an amazing show.
Yeah.
So to explain the universe, it's basically all of for PCA anyway. PCA is a federation. It basically is all of them from all over the world that come into one
Korea,
place.
Spain, Italy, like France.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and the level is madness.
Yeah, it's a big show. And then I was kind of like, you know what? And this is the first time I've ever prepped myself as well. So I coached myself for the last 2.5 years, but I've never done a competition prep. So kind of in a way,
very different.
Yeah, in a way, I think me dieting this holiday was just to see how lean I could get on my own.
Yeah.
Because I've never done a competition without a coach.
Well, now you know.
Yeah. So
you decided, what was it, 12 days?
This was 12 days out. Yeah.
And then you had 2 shows.
And
three
then
shows.
So I had 12 days out for the universe. So that was the qualifier. Then if you qualify, you do the finals. I was 12 days out. And in about 7 days, I dropped like 8 pounds.
It's crazy.
And then I peaked myself for the show, turned up, no expectations. And they told me I had 13 in my class. I thought, oh my God. I think the most I've ever competed was 6. So I was like, this is huge. And there were some amazing people in that lineup and who I knew of previously, winning shows and overalls and all that. And I thought, wow, like this is mental. Like,
yeah.
And then I compete. I obviously did it and I placed second. And it was like,
that was insane.
Yeah, so that was crazy.
So
wow,
good.
I didn't expect that. And then, but I felt like something was missing because it wasn't my local show, because all my friends and family weren't there.
Yeah. And it's so far away.
Come off stage, like 5 hours away. I come off stage and it just didn't have that same buzz. And I was like, I felt like an anticlimax. And I was like, oh. And then because the reason why I wasn't going to do the Hampshire is because I have a client competing in it, but in a different category to me anyway. He was novice bodybuilding. Obviously, I would do classic short. So then I was like, on that Saturday, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to do the Hampshire. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So then I signed it all.
So that was all the week after, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that was the following Sunday. So it'd be like another, the week later. So I signed up for it. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go for it. And then I told my mum and my friends and my sister and all that. So like, oh, quick, book tickets. And I was really looking forward to it. Again, no expectations. I think because I've won it previously, I thought I want to go win it again. Because I feel like I've won this. I thought I want to do it again. And obviously after the PCA Universe, I felt like I did so well. I was like, yeah, I want to win the Hampshire.
You only went and smashed it.
Yeah. So then obviously Hampshire turns up. On a minute registration. And I see these guys and I think, oh no, these really good people have just turned up. And it's because you don't know who turns up on a day.
And also you don't know when people turn up. You don't truly know what category they're. Do you know what I mean? Like until those moments backstage.
But it wasn't that. This was registration of calling out classic short. And then so we're all lining up to get our numbers so I could see
your class was tough.
So there was 2 guys there and I thought, wow, these guys are very, very good. And then one guy goes to me, oh, you see that guy there in your class? He won the show last weekend. Oh, we've seen that guy in your class. He's won overalls at there. It's
NFM.
NFM. He's won overalls at NFM. And I was thinking, oh my God. So I thought, oh my God, my friends and family come in. I won this show 2 years ago. I'm not going to win it. I thought that's going to. So then we're backstage. I thought, whatever, I'll just go on there, pose what you do. Just you've done the work. But and I peaked myself differently for this. So peaking is basically like the carbon up process, the drying out, the water manipulations, the sodium manipulations. And I did
It
something,
is very different every single prep,
yeah,
must I add, I
yeah,
think. So, and no, it's not
yeah.
all the
People,
same. And
people don't realize how much science goes into this. Like it doesn't.
peak week is
It's
hard.
biology, so it's every hour your body can change. You've got to time it perfect. You've got the time, some people react different. Some people don't need much sodium, because if they have much sodium, they hold loads of water. Some people, if you don't give them sodium, their muscle goes super deflated, and they don't push against the skin, and they look nowhere near as lean. So it's so much to it, which people don't realize. People just think you diet and step on stage.
Yeah.
There's so much the carb process. Some people can react good to carbs, some people don't. You've got to drop off the fatigue off, otherwise your body won't soak up the carbs. There's just so much to it, and obviously I've had so many years, and
I think this is
competitions.
the part that people really like. No, you don't just get on stage.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that is the absolute icing on the cake, but especially that peak week, like it is so
Yeah.
like crucial with the things that you do and the things that it's basically you
People
do
can
it on
mess,
however your body responds.
people can mess up their whole look for peak week because they try to do too many things, or they mess it up.
Or they change what they've had, or
So this is when
you don't really want to play with loads.
This is when coaching yourself is, well, people go like, "That's mad, you've done that." But I'm
is
quite
really
level-headed. I'm quite good at stepping back and looking at it objectively. So I'm taking my photos, I'm looking at myself, I'm making manipulations, and I looked so much better. So I was confident going into the show.
Yeah.
But then seeing them backstage, I thought, oh my God, they're massive. Like they look great. I said that. So anyway, we walk on, I go for it. So they call out the fourth, call out the third, and I was like, okay, top two. So I'm thinking, please just say, well, please just say, like, and then obviously I win it,
so
and I'm over the moon. My reaction, if you haven't seen the reaction, go over Instagram, scroll down a bit and see it. I am spinning around,
so
jumping up and
good.
down. I'm all over the place. I'm absolutely loving life. And all my
was
family
really
are
good.
screaming, my clients are screaming. So I had so many clients there, friends, family. It was fantastic. So then obviously when you win your category, you go to a thing called the overall. And the overall is every single class winner across the day. So you've got junior bodybuilding, novice bodybuilding, classic short, classic tall. You've got bodybuilding short, bodybuilding medium, bodybuilding tall, over 40s, over 50s. So you've got
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And these are out of over 100 and 150, 200 people, whatever it may be, throughout the whole day. And these are the winners out of all them categories. So these are a big deal. And obviously my client Ben won the novice bodybuilding, so that was fantastic. So we were both in the overall.
That was really nice.
That was amazing. So seeing my client win his, and I know how much hard work he's putting, because I've been there, I've coached him for 2.5 years, and to put him through that and then him win it was just such ice on the cake. And then obviously then I go on and win it, and we're going to be in the overall together. We're going to get some cool photos. That's all I cared about, was getting some cool photos of him, and that's what I was thinking about the overall. I didn't expect me to win. So a few people go, oh yeah, go and win the overall, go get that big sword. If you win the overall, it's massive sword thing.
How fun though.
And I was like, yeah, thinking I'm never in a million years going to win an overall.
And you said to me, you're like, I want to, you would want to, but you were like,
one day, but I was thinking 5 years away.
That's mad.
And an overall, they normally give it to the bodybuilder guy. They don't give it to the classic guy. It's quite unheard of. So then I was thinking, yeah, it's not gonna happen. And there was some really good bodybuilders in that in the overall. So then I'm in the overall, and they keep me in the middle. And if you're normally in the middle out of everyone,
you're basically prime spot.
Yeah, you're prime spot. But
so they shuffle people around. So if they sometimes they swap you sides, sometimes, but generally the closer you are to the middle, they'll decide where you are.
So normally, if you know you're in the middle, okay, I'm in the top spots here. And they had the bodybuilding short guy next to me in the middle, and so I'm thinking, yeah, they're going to give it to him. Yeah, let's give it to bodybuilder guys, and he's phenomenal. He's really, really good. Jake Watts, he's an amazing coach. He's a really big name in the industry. So I'm thinking, yeah, he's going to win it. So then I'm there, there backstage, and they dim all the lights, and it's really building up that tension. And then they call out number 9, Ross McCarthy.
The video is even better than the other one.
Honestly, it
was so good.
That feeling is
unmatched.
You can't match it. And I want you to win an overall to feel it.
I'm trying.
Because that feeling, I genuinely never in a million years thought I'd win an overall anytime soon. I thought it was going to be so far-fetched in the future, if any. And to win my Hampshire, the show that I've gone for from 2018, 2019, 2020 got cancelled, 2021, 2022 winning it, and then making a last minute decision to go for it.
It's mad. Worth every bit.
Win my category, win the overall. So basically, I've now completed the whole show. The judges have said to me, out of all them competitors that day, you are the number one. Like it is like I just my mind was just blown, and I was like, genuinely the best day of my life by a long way. Like nothing comes close.
That is a big
Nothing
statement.
comes close, you know. I had my friends and all that, which is I couldn't believe they were like, yeah, because they've been to a lot of my shows and they've seen the process, see how much hard work I put in.
It's exciting.
And another thing that I kind of touched base on the post is like the end of last year, I had a really rough time, horrendous time, and yeah, cool. Even now I'm a bit emotional. Yeah, really rough time. Oh, hang on.
All right.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing as well. I think that you sort of, as well, I think for anyone out there as well, like you can come back from anything.
Yeah, so I think what I was trying to touch base was that I had a really rough time, but the main thing that got me through it was my training and my nutrition and keeping that
It's
structure.
that
I
consistency.
didn't let it drop off. And like, don't get me wrong,
Because that was your probably away time from
I had
everything.
2 weeks where I was still training, but I couldn't eat. Because what was happening was I just felt sick all the time, couldn't eat. So I lost a lot of weight, but I kept training. And even though sometimes it's not the best thing to do, but I needed that because that was me, my escape.
Yeah.
And then I got
the thing is, you
through it.
probably knew at the time, okay, I know this isn't like, I'm not making this optimal, but life isn't always optimal. Do you know what I mean? It's just not.
And I got through it and I pushed through. And if I would have fallen off, if I would have let them things, take away from my training and got really down and depressed and stopped my nutrition and training and fallen off a bad,
it would have changed so much.
That moment that I felt would have never happened. And that was the best moment of my life. And I remember in the evening sitting there, and one of my mates said it to me. He said, you know what, if you would have like let that fall, that would have never happened today. And I thought about it and I thought, wow.
I love stuff like that.
Wow, that's so true. And it was like,
I think that with so many things, the people we meet, the things we do, the choices we make, even if some of those choices aren't necessarily the best choices, it's only a reason for why you have done or what you're doing today.
And like I said, that sense of like a proud and achievement just then leveled up even more, because I was like, Ross, that wouldn't have happened if you let that happen. And like I said, right now everything's going so good, so well when it comes to like my business and the everything just happened the last few weeks with me winning that overall, and I wasn't even meant to do it. I'm going to Ibiza in 2 days time. Like I haven't finished my diet yet.
It's gonna be the best trip to Ibiza ever.
Yeah, and what's even more mad is the guy that I beat in the thing who got second. He's going to Ibiza the same time I'm going. So,
you have to get a photo.
Yeah,
you have to see it.
I said, mate, we've got to get a photo together.
Oh, that's so nice. And it's really, like, I think amazing. And Ibiza will probably hit entirely different for that reason.
Yeah.
Like you're going to sit back and be like,
Even now,
it's so good.
I'm still trying to let it sink in that you're the PCA overall Hampshire champion. This is a show that you tried for many years. Like, I've completed it. And it's, in a way, it's kind of like, oh, I've completed that. I want to go back. I love that show. But,
all the big shows.
Yeah, now
that's for next year.
But now it's like, again, now I've done that. It's now again, okay, I now need to set the next objective. So I've already done that. So for me, it's like, okay, as soon as I'm back from Ibiza, I've already got another goal to work towards. Whereas, I never thought the goal would be to work more than winning the overall at that show. But it's amazing. Cool. It's cool.
And it's pretty darn epic, like those feelings. And I think, I will never forget sort of the reason, like the show that I won last year, I only added it in 4 weeks out. And that was shows back to back. And without doing that, I wouldn't be in the position that I am now. But it made, like, by the end of that prep, I was like, no one else has done this but me. Like, it's an unmatched feeling.
It becomes addictive, doesn't it? Because it's that sense.
And I viewed myself really differently.
Yeah. And I think there's not many things in life that make you feel really proud of yourself. Like, when you really deep it and try and think of things, it's quite tough. But this is something you can 100% be, I'm proud of myself of that, and that's what I love. That's what I love.
Awesome. And I think we've got a good couple of things that I'm going to do quick fire for you to end. Okay, so we said you do top 3.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Said top 1, I was like, I need more than that.
Faith part of the process.
Faith part of the process. Do you know what? I think it's being able to do things which other people can't do. I think it's that sense to me. Like, when someone says I can never do that, I love that, because it's kind of like, yes, I can do something that other people can't do. I don't know. It's like a sense of, like, I guess you could call it, I don't know. I guess you could call it just a sense of, again, a proudness. It's like,
appreciation for what you're capable of.
I can do something that many people said they can't ever do, and that's quite a cool feeling. And I think that comes from me being very competitive as well from the background. So I
Yeah.
enjoy challenges. I
Yeah.
enjoy doing things.
Come at me, let's
I
go.
want to do things which are tough, and I think
Yeah.
it's that tough that, you know, thing.
100%. Is that you're going to be your top one for that?
I think so.
Faith part about show day. This is probably a tougher one.
So this is a tougher one. This one I could do 3.
Okay.
So, one, I think it's just like you said, your friends and family being there, because it's like such a nice thing.
It's so nice.
'Cause honestly, like the support from your friends and it's just like wow, like it makes you
it's
realize
amazing.
how important friends and family are.
Yeah.
Because they make
your
it so
support
much
system
special.
is everything.
I went to Universe and I got second. If they were there, I would have come off that stage so much more buzzing and energetic and just like loved it. Whereas I come off that and I was like, this doesn't feel right because they're not there.
Same,
And I know now moving forward, I want them to be at my shows. I want them to be like my sister Holly had been to every single one of my shows apart from that one because she literally gave birth a week before. Like, and that's fair enough. It's 5 hours away, and she was like, Ross, and it was a last minute decision.
I love how she was like, I'm so gutted.
It was a last minute decision by me as well. I said, honestly, I don't expect you to come. It was silly, but she was like, but I've been to all your shows, and you know, and then it's made me realise now that I want her to be at all my shows. So that's something that that's when we realised that's one of my favourite things. Secondly, how good food hits differently afterwards. Like your taste buds are
Pizza
just
Express specifically.
Yeah, other old shop express. Always that. And you know what? I was at the Universe, and obviously this is one of my favourite things, is how weird bodybuilding can be, but you don't realise it at the moment. So until you leave, so we were getting our spray tans in the morning. This happens to everybody on the show.
The spray tan's an experience. I think I've spoken about it a little bit.
You get your base coat and you get your top coat in the morning.
You're pretty much stark, guys.
No, you are.
You are stark. You're a little bit more covered than the female.
So we were all the blokes are stood there, and you get this smallest sock possible they give you. And you know what's even worse? Lucky I now bring my own, right? Because it's embarrassing. The socks are like age 3 to 5 years old for a sock they give to you. I know it's cold in there, but come on. You know what I mean? Like, and I did not know this. Yeah, age 3 to 5. It's embarrassing. So I was like, I bring my own socks anyway, because I like to be prepared. Like when I turn up, I haven't got to try and put some little sock on, right? So I turn up, sock already on, and then you're
tickled me so much. I did
3 to 5 years old, yeah. So I was like, that's an insult to all the
lads. That's your fave part, yeah.
But so we're all stood there with a sock on, all tanned up. We're stood there, hands on our head. And we're all next to these fans trying to dry ourselves off. And we're all just talking, yeah, so what was your prep, mate? What have you been doing for your food? What have you been doing for your thing? Where'd you come from far? And we all just stood there, start naked with just a little sock on our head, all tanned up. And we're just chatting, and the smell of the tan and the fans and it's just
an atmosphere.
It just like I'm like, this is bodybuilding. And that for me is just such a weird experience, but it just reminds me of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like we're all talking about each other's preps and what gym you train at and where you come from and this and that. And it's such a lovely thing because these people could be in your categories. These people you have no idea they are. But you're chatting to them because you've all got to share the same passion. Yeah, and then it's funny when you see guys who have never done this before. It's their first of a show. And they're like, "This is so weird." I'm like, "Yeah, it's normal."
Yeah, it's normal. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
I said to because obviously we competed together in our first show. I was like, our friendship's going to level up big time here. Like we're not going to see each other the same. Okay, this is a big one and a good one to end on actually. Best post-show meal and then best post-show treat.
Post-show meal. What one I've had post-show or like?
Yeah.
That is tricky. So obviously, I love my Pizza Express when it comes to the Order Shot show because it's right near, it's convenient.
Delicious.
That is fantastic, and it's never had the Romana-based barbecue eggs.
You've got to have it now.
I feel like I'm sponsored. Use code Ross10. No, it's not really. I've got no sponsorship. I wish I did because
that'd be great.
Yeah,
free pizza.
Yeah, so that pizza, Romana-based barbecue is unbelievable, and obviously you got to get the dough balls. They've got this new one, the sausage.
It's so good. A lot of cheese.
A joke. They are very good. I think that's kind of like an addition for me. So that's always like a big thing. But I've had quite a few other good ones though. But if I had to just make one that feels special to me, it's probably that.
Okay. And your best post-show treat, so sweet treat.
That is a tricky one too as well.
Or along the similar lines of.
So my sister Holly would always make me these Oreo brownies, and they were banging.
Good.
She can't have this recipe, and I would just had to I feel like I need them after each show. But then when I had the Cookie Pro, this is a girl, she's from Aldershot, and she has this company called Cookie Pro, and she had this one that I had on the Hampshire, because I've got from Universe and Hampshire, and it was like a blondie cookie brownie.
They're like
blondie.
huge.
They are
I mean,
ridiculous.
for people listening, you're not going to be able to see my hand reactions, but they are massive.
And it was it had like carrot cake on it and in it, and Biscoff. It was nuts.
So good.
And
so
it
good.
was unbelievable. Like it was really, really good. So I recommend her a lot, actually. So but yeah,
Probably
that was fantastic, and that was really, really good. But yeah, something along them lines, something kind of cookie, brownie, donuts,
Biscoffy.
anything. Like everything. Yeah.
It hits another spot after the show. Like I have my cookie box post show.
Yeah.
So good. And yeah, what a journey. What a journey. And it's been really exciting, like I guess you chatting all the way through like each sort of part. And I think people forget like that's over 10 years.
Yes.
Or like 9 years.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? When you love it, you're in it for the long game. You're so passionate about it. And it's really then exciting for, you know, what is next, even if that what next is in 1 year, 2 years. Do you know what I mean? Like the goalpost is going to shift when you're back from Ibiza.
100%.
And all the food will be consumed, I'm sure.
Honestly, these 2 weeks of staying in shape for Ibiza have been so much harder than
the 12-day prep.
Yeah, because it's like I haven't got competition to do for, but I've been kind of keeping pretty much like stage condition for Ibiza, which is a bit silly, but I enjoy the challenge again. So,
so it's exciting.
Yeah, and like I said, prep is like I think a lot of people when they get into the gym, they assume that people would just be like, oh, you should compete, and you've got to truly love it. You've got to truly love competing, the diet and the process to do it. Because so many people
why you do it.
Yeah, so many people do a prep, they hate it, and then they go like anti-gym anymore.
And anti-bodybuilding, and like, oh, it's such it's an extreme sport at the end of the day. Yeah. So it's going to be like...
And I think as well, like too many people realise that you can make progress in your physique, but it doesn't mean you have to end up on stage.
100%.
Just spend year to year
You can love bodybuilding without competing.
Yeah, and you haven't got to do it. So it's, when you love the gym and you love the lifestyle, you can live and breathe it. Doesn't mean you then got to go to the extremes of getting to that level of body fat, because it's not healthy.
No.
It's extremely horrendous. Like, your family will suffer, you suffer, your work will suffer. There's a lot of things that suffer, relationships, and
it's having all of those things and understanding the processes around it, your support system, and
that's massive.
It's such a big thing.
And it's hard for people to when they don't realize bodybuilding and having that support system if they're not in it. So like a lot of people, they don't realize, and my family didn't really understand it.
No, it took my family, it took up to my stage prep. So it took me 3 photo shoot preps for them to understand so much more about what was going on and what I was doing and why I was doing it. And, they didn't really bat an eyelid, and not many people did. People were questioning it all throughout. It just takes time.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing.
If you want to do it, you're...
Yeah. And they obviously care about you, because like, when you're like a zombie and I'm doing 2 hours of cardio a day and I'm eating 0 carbs and I'm on fish and broccoli and I'm passing out and I'm wet in the bed, and they're like, Ross, this is not healthy. And I'm like, yeah, but I love it. And they're like, yeah, I'm like, no, I love it. And they're like, you're weird. And I'm just like, yeah, but it's hard to explain to someone who doesn't know, like, understand it. Like, and but then when they see you on stage and you love it, and
the penny drops.
Yeah, my mum was always, again, I'm about to get emotional again. So after the Hampshire, this one gone, it was, so the show was on the Sunday, and on the Monday, and I'm walking in, because I had the morning off, and I walk into the just outside her office, and I hear her on a call, and she's talking about she doesn't even know I know this, actually. And I heard her talking. She put photos on her Facebook, and I hear her on a call with one of her work colleagues, and she was saying about she's never met someone so dedicated than me, and she's like so proud of me. And,
so
honestly,
nice.
I was
and it changes. I remember I put up a video for my dad for Father's Day, and there was a couple of days out that me and my dad we're quite similar, so we clash, but we don't at the same time. We're very sentimental with each other. And he came after the show and hugged me, and I was literally like,
yeah.
And it was like for ages, like it's amazing when you have that kind of support system.
And the thing is as well,
it's so special.
They can say it to you like, oh, I'm so proud you love it so much. But then when you hear it,
and them saying it to other people,
they're saying it to someone, they have no idea you're outside that door, and they're saying to you like, I've never met anyone so dedicated and passionate, and and I'm just so proud of him, and he's done this and that, and it was just like, wow, absolutely loved that. And she got no idea, even heard of it, but it was just beautiful. And I was like, you know what? things like that. Like I love it. Do you know what I mean? And my mum doesn't know bodybuilding, but she's at the show and she's like, oh yeah, I reckon that guy's gonna win. I reckon that's gonna win. Like she gets really
Oh, I
invested.
love it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
My parents are the same.
even my friends are the same. Like the ones that didn't know about bodybuilding, they're there and they're buzzing about it and they love the whole day. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, who would have thought that you could go and enjoy people on a stage with little posing trunks on,
Yeah,
hitting
it's
front of
mad.
biceps? It's like, just, it doesn't make sense. But you become like your own little judge, and they love it, and you know, and they always look really forward to it. You know?
Yeah, and it's so
Yeah,
special.
and yeah, it's just that for me, bodybuilding, that's what it is. It can bring, yes, it can go through challenging times, and sometimes they're like, oh, what are you doing this? But also
That
the
makes it all
day
worth
of the
it.
show, and when they see how happy it makes you, and they said they see how much hard work you go through. It's like all that gets forgotten, and they just like, yeah, this is yeah, what you do is cool, Ross. Do you know what I mean? And I'm
A
like,
pretty
yeah,
darn cool journey.
yeah, and I love
And
it.
never ending.
Yeah, and I can't wait to keep doing it forever. And I genuinely will be someone that does it forever.
Yeah.
There will never be a moment where I don't. I'll be doing the over 70s, over 80s
I love it.
classes.
Let's go.
Yeah, I will be. I will be. I will be. And I know people who are, you know, 80, 70, and they see me at the gym and they come up to you and talk to me. Like, I got one guy called Grant, and he's like in his late 70s, and he was a PT. He was you know, I had a few people he coached for like competitions and whatever, and he saw me when I was 2018 posing, and ever since then he's become like a little bit of a gym granddad to me, like a little gym
Oh.
dad. And he messages me really lovely messages about how proud he is of me, and you don't realize how much potential you've got, and all this stuff. And he comes to all my shows, and you know, I see him in the gym, and he's just like, you know, he just loves bodybuilding still. He's been doing it since he
Yeah.
was 15, 16, and he's like, you know, coming up to people like myself who are younger, and you know, trying to give him little tips. I remember when I was like, you know, back in 2018, take me for little sessions and show me things,
Yeah.
and you know, you know, I want to
It's
be that guy.
exciting,
I want to
yeah.
be that guy when I'm
I have
that
no
age.
doubts that you
Yeah, I
would be.
probably,
Yeah.
I will be that guy who sees people and thinks, you know what, you know, you love bodybuilding too, and you connect. It doesn't matter what age you are, you
Yeah,
connect. You know?
100%.
And that's what's great about bodybuilding. The amount of friends I've met all over the UK,
Yeah.
and I would have met them. And obviously, social media is a big factor of that. And I've gone and trained with them, and I've gone and, you know, drove 3 or 4 hours to see
Yeah.
them. You know, bodybuilding is such a
It's
lovely community.
yeah, people think it's lonely and it's not.
Oh, it's
It's
not.
so, yeah,
Such
it's
a lovely
awesome.
community, and it, you know, like, yeah, yeah, bodybuilding has brought so many good things in my life, and yeah, I can't thank you enough, and it'll always be a part of me.
Yeah.
Always be a part of me.
I
Always.
love it. I love it. That sums it up pretty well, I would say. And it was so awesome to go into those like intricate parts. And I think as well, some things that people really don't see, like it's not just you get on stage, you look pretty and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or buff. I don't know what the equivalent for a guy
Yeah.
would be.
I
Do
think
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's such a, there is so much more for the people behind
Yeah.
it, or most of the time
Yeah.
there is. Not everyone's like
100%.
that.
And I think the biggest thing I always get, people kind of get very confused and think it's like vanity, and it's so far from that.
No,
Like,
it's not.
I like
So much more.
honestly, the amount of blokes that think I do this because of girls, I'm like, what? First of all, girl doesn't want me to be that veiny and that, you know. Like I said, I never even crossed my mind. Like, even if it just baffles me that people think that. Like, and that's what I mean. For me, it's a sport. It's a passion. I love
Yeah.
it. It's every day I wake up, I've got a purpose to work towards.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up, I've got
Something to do.
yeah, I've got
boxes to tick,
objectives.
Yeah.
And every day I go
100%.
to bed and I'm like, yeah, I've accomplished that.
I'm
accomplished that.
satisfied. Yeah, 100%.
So,
And
like,
yeah.
yeah, and if anyone is out there who's genuinely thinking about competing, the first thing I'd say is get yourself a coach, like who knows competing, can get you through the posing, can take you through the process, can make the process as easy as possible as well.
Yeah.
Because your starting position is so key when it comes to a prep. You need to
100%.
put the
Don't
years
just go up to a coach and be like, let's go.
in 12
12 weeks.
I've had that. People come to me, I want the show in 8 weeks, huh? And I'm like, you know, well, you can't do this in 8 weeks. You don't realize how much time and effort goes into this. you know?
Yeah. This isn't just an 8-week, 12-week thing. Oh,
So,
30 weeks
Yeah,
later.
I would always say, literally, if you're someone who's never competed but you want to, give yourself like a 2-year timeline. You know, 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I did.
You know, yes, you might you probably possibly could shorten that timeline because your progress has been so amazing. But
Just
give yourself
give
2
it
years.
time.
'Cause,
100%.
And you know, you'll find out if you love it or not. But if you do love it, it's one of the
Amazing.
most amazing things you can do.
We love it.
Yeah.
We love it. And yeah, what a full like sort of summary about bodybuilding, I guess, why we're weird about it, but we love it. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on and just speaking, obviously, everything on the previous pod as well as your own journey in such an awesome way. And I'm already excited for everyone's reactions. I'm sure they will love it. And yeah, obviously, I will pop loads of Ross's links and things underneath and where you can find him and to follow more about his journey to the universe next year. Championship, British finals. There we go. There we go.
Now, so,
exciting. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you on the next episode. A big thank you for joining me on my channel and tuning in. Find me on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, Amazon and YouTube at Diary to Empower. Follow me on Instagram, m_power.fitness and TikTok, m.ibert. See you on the next episode.